Okay, let's just get into it. We have to talk about the elephant in the room. It's a question that seems to be popping up everywhere, especially if you're, scrolling furniture forums or just wandering through a showroom.
It's the classic dilemma, isn't it?
It really is. We're looking at two products, right? They're from the same company, that big blue and yellow box, and they both do the exact same job.
Hold books.
Hold books, don't fall over. That's it. That is the entire gig.
A simple mandate, yeah.
So simple. And here's where it gets kind of baffling. One of them costs nearly 3 times as much as the other. So today we are doing a deep dive. We are putting the world-famous IKEA Billy bookcase up against the new premium contender, the IKEA TONSTAD.
It's the heavyweight title fight of particle board.
It really feels like it. And look, I'll be honest, I'm a Billy owner. It's cheap. It works. I can buy like 3 of them for the price of 1 TONSTAD. So my mission here is simple. You need to convince me. Is that massive price jump actually justified?
That's a fair challenge, because on paper, you're 100% right. They're both vertical rectangles with shelves. You look at the spec sheet and you think, why would I ever pay more?
Exactly. A shelf is a shelf.
It is, but the way the object interacts with the world is fundamentally different. And this is where you have to look closer. When you see them side by side, and I'm talking about these really detailed 4K comparisons from our source material, you realize pretty quick they're not in the same league.
So it's not just a luxury tax.
No.
Not
At all. It's a battle between a budget icon, which the Billy is, and what is basically a piece of premium furniture. And the differences are in the very DNA of how they're built.
Okay, so let's get into that DNA. Materials first.
Okay.
Because for me, a white shelf is a white shelf. It's woodish, right?
Woodish is a good word for it.
Yeah.
But there's a huge difference. And to get that, we have to talk about the update to the Billy.
Right, I heard about this. They changed the recipe.
They did. The Billy now uses something called paper foil.
Paper foil. That sounds flimsy, like for wrapping a sandwich.
It's not that fragile, but the concept is it's basically a very, very high-tech sticker over the particle board, a printed image. From a distance, it looks fine. Clean, white, uniform.
It's smooth.
It is smooth, but it's flat. It lacks depth. You're looking at a photograph of a texture, not the real thing.
This is just makeup.
Precisely. Now, the TONSTAD, this is where the money starts to make sense. It uses real oak veneer.
Okay, break down veneer for us. That's not solid oak, right?
No, not at this price point. It's a very thin layer of real oak wood bonded to the core. But that thin layer changes everything about how light hits it. In the source footage, you can literally see the light catch in the grain. It creates this warm, organic texture that paper just can't fake.
So it's the difference between a photo of a tree and actually touching the bark.
That's a perfect analogy. The paper foil reflects light uniformly. It looks a bit plasticky. The veneer changes depending on your angle.
Okay, I get the visual appeal, but I don't go around petting my bookcases. I put books on them. Why should I care about fiber scatter if I'm just storing paperbacks?
Because of what happens when life happens. Durability.
Ah, the scratch test. We've all been there.
And with the paper foil on the Billy, a bad scratch is. It's a fatal error.
Fatal.
Aesthetically fatal, yeah. You're not just denting wood, you are tearing the sticker. You're ripping the photograph,
Yeah.
and it reveals that raw brown particle board underneath. It's a wound that never heals.
Oh, I know that look. That jagged white tear with the brown fluff inside. And you can't buff that out.
Can't stand a sicker. You can try coloring it in with a marker, but it just looks like you colored it in with a marker.
With the veneer on the TONSTAD, a scratch is different. It tends to add character.
Character. That sounds like marketing speak for it's still scratched.
Well, think about an old oak table. A scratch is still wood. It absorbs oil, it weathers. The TONSTAD takes a beating and looks lived in. The Billy takes a beating and just looks broken.
That's a huge distinction. Ruined versus used.
Exactly. And that resilience is what makes something feel premium. It ages with you. Okay, point taken. But what about the bones, the stability? Because nothing screams cheap furniture. Like a bookcase that wobbles if you sneeze too hard.
The dreaded wobble fact.
The wobble factor. You build it, you stand it up, and it just rocks. It's heartbreaking.
It's the universal flat pack experience.
Yeah.
And this brings us to the foundation. How they meet the floor. The Billy. It just sits there.
Right, flat on the floor. It assumes your floor is perfect.
Which it never is. Not in the real world. Especially not in older buildings.
Tell me about it. My floor has waves.
So with the Billy, you're immediately in what I call the struggle of the shim.
Ugh, I know this struggle. Folding up a piece of the cardboard box it came in, trying to jam it under a corner.
It's a rite of passage. And then you vacuum, the shim flies out, and the wobble is back.
It makes the whole thing feel so temporary.
But the TONSTAD solves this. And this is a hidden feature that really justifies the price. It has integrated adjustable feet concealed within the base.
Wait, concealed? So you don't see those ugly little screw things?
Not at all. They're hidden inside that bottom kick plate. You can dial in the level of each corner perfectly. So if your floor dips, you just twist a mechanism from the inside and the foot extends down.
Okay, that's actually impressive.
It makes the unit dead solid, rock solid, even on a terrible floor.
But I could buy a pack of shims for $3. Is that feature really worth hundreds of dollars more?
I think it is, because when you shim a Billy, you're fixing a design flaw.
Yeah.
The TONSTAD anticipates the problem. The Billy just ignores the problem and makes it your job to solve it.
The Billy ignores the problem. I love that. It's indifferent to my sloping floors.
It is. Now, while we're on engineering, look at the frame itself. The corners.
Right. A Billy has a very specific look. You can spot it a mile away.
You can, because of the exposed joints. You see where the top piece just sits on the side piece? You see the seam?
It looks like a kit. It looks like I assembled it.
It looks like flat pack. The TONSTAD, on the other hand, uses 45-degree mitered corners.
Break that down. Why is that a big deal?
Instead of one board sitting on another, they meet at an angle, like a picture frame. This is incredibly hard to do in mass production.
Why? It's just a cut.
It's a shipping nightmare. That 45-degree edge is super fragile. If you drop the box, it's going to get crushed. So you need better packaging, higher precision. If that cut is off by half a degree, you get a hideous gap.
Ah, so you're paying for the precision.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the result is it hides the end grain. It creates this continuous flow. Your brain doesn't scream, I built this with an Allen key. It says, this is custom cabinetry.
That's a subtle but powerful difference. The Billy looks like it can be taken apart. The TONSTAD looks like it grew there.
That's the idea.
Okay, so far the TONSTAD is running away with this. Real wood, wobble-proof feet, fancy corners. Why would anyone even buy a Billy anymore other than price?
Well, hold on. This is where the plot thickens. Because despite all those premium features, the TONSTAD actually loses to the Billy in one very critical category.
Oh, what could the cheap one possibly do better?
Flexibility. Pure, unadulterated adaptability. If you're a serious book collector, with books of all different sizes, the Billy is actually the superior design.
Really? Ah.
It comes down to the holes. The inside of a Billy looks like Swiss cheese.
The famous rows of holes? Yeah, you kind of stop seeing them after a while.
But those holes give you surgical precision. You can move a shelf just a few centimeters up or down to get the perfect fit. You maximize every single inch of space.
Right. I do this. I have a shelf just for my paperbacks, and there's like no wasted air above them.
Exactly. Density. The TONSTAD, in its quest for that high-end look, it has way fewer holes.
Because holes are ugly.
To a designer, yes.
Yeah.
It ruins the clean lines. So they are rid of most of them. But
Right.
that means you have way fewer options for shelf placement.
So you get that awkward thing where you have a row of small books with a huge gap of dead air above them?
Precisely. And there's one other thing where the Billy wins. Verticality.
Height.
Height extensions.
Oh, right. The little top hats you can buy for them.
Exactly. You can make a Billy go almost to the ceiling. You can create that built-in library wall look.
Which people love. They do those hacks where they make a whole wall of them and it looks like a Victorian library.
It's a design staple.
Mm-hmm.
The TONSTAD can't do that. It's a fixed height. It's designed to be a standalone piece of furniture, not part of the architecture.
That's a really interesting way to put it. Billy is infrastructure, TONSTAD is decor.
That's a perfect summary.
So we've got a clear trade-off. The TONSTAD gives you the premium look and feel, but the Billy gives you raw utility.
It's form versus function. But here, the form, the stability, the feel, has real tangible value. But the function of the Billy, its capacity, is unmatched.
So let's land the plane here. Who is supposed to buy which one?
I think it boils down to two very clear scenarios based on where it's going to live.
Okay, lay them out.
The Billy scenario. This is for someone who needs volume storage. You're filling a basement, a home office, a kid's room, you're on a strict budget. It's Billy all day.
The workhorse. The books are the star, not the shelf.
Exactly. Who cares if it's paper foil, if it's going to be covered in books anyway? You don't even see it.
That's a great point.
But the TONSTAD scenario is different. This is for your main living room. A space where the unit itself is part of the decor. It needs to feel like real furniture.
When people are actually going to be looking at the shelf.
Right. You want something that will last, that feels solid, that adds warmth to the room. And for that specific use, I think the TONSTAD is the winner. even at 3 times the price.
Because you're buying atmosphere.
Correct.
Yeah.
And again, the source footage proves it. The close-ups on the grain. The difference isn't marketing fluff. It's tangible.
So it all comes down to context. You wouldn't put a TONSTAD in a storage closet, and you might not put a Billy front and center in your fancy living room.
That's the crux of it.
Okay, so to recap, they both hold books, but one is a storage solution, the other is a piece of furnishing.
Storage versus furnishing. That's the headline.
And as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a thought. We spend a lot of time looking at price tags and spec sheets, but this comparison raises a bigger question about how we value the things we live with. When you buy furniture, are you paying for the utility, the holes and the height? Or are you paying for the sensory experience? The way light hits the grain, the lack of a wobble, the sound it makes when you touch it. Our sources today suggest the premium feel isn't about capacity, it's about texture and stability. It's about how the object makes you feel.
And you can't measure that with a tape measure.
Exactly. Something to think about next time you're lost in that showroom maze. Thanks for diving in with us.
My pleasure.